this seems about as definitive as you can get without a ruling from the International Court of Justice. Now, of course, the International Court of Justice has now been basically rendered almost completely ineffective between Israel and the United States, threatening of multiple prosecutors, threatening of sanctions, threatening of people in this country who are going to uphold any of those rulings. But the International Association of, and like literally countdown until Israel starts their own, or the ADL starts their own International Association of Genocide Scholars, I should say. There was a resolution passed on Sunday, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, who consist of the world's most foremost genocide scholars, oddly enough, passed a resolution saying that Israel's nearly 2-year military campaign in Gaza meets, quote, the legal definition of genocide. It's sort of fascinating that this is not getting that much attention. Like, remember when it was a big deal? All of these people would argue on Twitter, it's not genocide, completely like...
We're anti-Semitic, we hate Jews, because we would say, so how could you say that about people who were victims of the Holocaust?
Words have meaning.
Killing tens of thousands of children, as if leveling cities into rubble, as if bombing hospitals, bombing universities, bombing power plants, cutting off water, cutting off food. If it's not legally the definition of genocide, it's okay. Right? Like that was the sort of like why they would focus exclusively on the question of whether the word is appropriate. Well, the association has roughly 500 members. 86% of members who voted on the resolution approved it. One of the administrators said, we were very surprised at the level of consensus there was.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
The resolution states that the October 7th attacks by Hamas against Israel and prompted the campaign in Gaza constitutes international crimes. But it also concludes that Israel's response violates all 5 conditions set out in the 1948 convention, including killing members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part. That is according to one of the members of the association's executive board. The 1948 convention, of course, was in the wake of where these, I guess, principles were drawn up in the wake of the Holocaust.
Yeah.
The resolution accused Israel of carrying out, quote, indiscriminate and deliberate attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructure in Gaza. The destruction of a substantial part of the group constitutes genocide, the association concluded. Here is a clip from Miss Rachel. As you know, we spoke to a doctor, I guess it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, who had come back from Gaza.
Or no, he was in Gaza. Dr. Luban.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
No, it's
While
okay.
he was in Gaza, he was also aware that the baby formula was being prevented from entering Gaza. Now,
that was Amber Salimi who talked about that.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she had a colleague who was stopped with baby formula, and she had told us that baby formula was not allowed into Gaza. I'd be fascinated by anyone's argument as to why you can't let baby formula into Gaza. But here's Miss Rachel, who has asked people to share this video, pressure members of Congress. Like we say, we said this earlier, whether it is, Richie Torres finding out that, like, maybe the ground is shifting a little bit in terms of people's disposition towards Israel and what they're doing. Whether it's Congress people deciding they're no longer going to take AIPAC money, or Graham Plattner getting huge applause in saying we shouldn't be using our tax dollars to destroy Gaza, things are beginning to shift, at least within the context of the Democratic Party. And so passing this around, maybe we'll also see it shift in the Republican Party, at least in the context of providing baby formula for babies.
Members of Congress, thank you so much for listening to me and Susie today. About 20 minutes ago, little Susie got hungry, and I just grabbed formula and gave her a bottle. As I was feeding her, I thought about moms in Gaza that can't get formula, and they can't breastfeed because they're too malnourished. I can't imagine the anguish of hearing that same cry, the cry of hunger, and not being able to feed my baby. And this isn't about politics. This cry of hunger is the same everywhere, and it's absolute cruelty to have formula miles away. Please sign the letter to get formula, food, and aid into Gaza. We will remember who signed it. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. This is about babies having formula. A few words to the Christian members of Congress. If you're not going to sign this, I would just like to know why, because Jesus is so clear that we need to feed the hungry. He says when we feed the hungry, we feed him. He says to love your neighbor as yourself, and he's clear that your neighbor is everyone. And we would never want our baby to starve. We need to love our neighbors as ourselves. Have a chance to do something great and be one of the people that wanted to get the formula to these starving babies. Very connected to a huge number of parents having the #1 kids show in the US. And people don't want this. They don't want to be part of kids starving. They don't want to be part of 18,000 kids being killed. They're devastated. Moms are commenting that they want to send their own breast milk to Gaza. Everyone's saying, how can I help? How can I get these babies fed? And you have that power. And we just are begging you. And I think so many parents in my community, their compassion for kids doesn't stop at borders. They want all kids to be safe, fed, and loved. And they know that that's the best thing for our children as well. We feel like politicians aren't hearing us, that we don't want children to suffer this way. We want to be helpers, like Mr. Rogers told us to be. When you were a kid and you dreamed of what you could be when you grow up and you decided to go into public service eventually, I know that you didn't want to be part of starving any child. It's not who we are. And I know deep within in your heart and soul, you know that that's wrong. And we have to do something about it. History is going to look back on this time and say, who did something? Be part of this group that did something. I sat with a mom from Gaza, Isra, and I would love for you to meet Isra and I. We're both teachers. We both have little girls, but her daughter doesn't have legs anymore. Her daughter is Rahaf. The whole world has fallen in love with Rahaf. She is the sweetest, brightest, most loving little girl. Kids are our whole world, and every child is a universe. And putting politics aside, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. We have to do something. Let's not let one more baby or child die of starvation. I am so honored to have had the chance to talk to you, and I want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
We'll put a link to where you can pressure your congresspeople to sign that letter in the podcast and YouTube description. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.